How's everyone doing today? Good? Okay, gotta give me more energy than that. Come on. Okay! There we go! Okay. See, I work off of energy, so what you guys give me, I'm gonna give back to you, okay? Alright, so today I want to talk to you guys about a really important idea. And it's really how AI is sitting at the intersection of AI and also work. So the title of this workshop is called The Unfair Advantage, How to Quickly Master Anything with AI. Alright? Okay, have you guys ever heard this before, this phrase? Those who don't learn how to use AI will be replaced not by AI, but by people who use it better than they do. Raise hands. Anybody heard that phrase? Okay. So I'm actually going to go through some examples of that right now. So these are some examples of what it looks like in practice. At the level of companies and also at the level of schools. So I don't know if you guys have seen this story before, but Medme is a telehealth company, and it's the first $1 billion company that was founded by just one person and AI. So pretty sure he started it like 14, 15 months ago, and within that span, just him and his brother, and using a bunch of AI agents, he was able to scale it to $1 billion in net worth. So that's one example of people using AI. Another example is Alpha School. Has anybody heard of Alpha School before? No? Okay. So they're really innovative school. Pretty much the whole philosophy is that AI is a better teacher than even teachers at this point because it can personalize their own learning. So what they do, they're in the US, so they have different locations. And what they do is that students, in just 2 hours a day using AI, learn more effectively than 99% of other schools. And so they have 2 hours a day of learning, and the rest of the day is just life skills and other types of workshops. That's kind of another example of how AI is becoming relevant. Another thing, Cal AI. So this founder's been going very viral on like Instagram and a bunch of social platforms for quickly scaling his company. He's 18 years old. He taught himself how to code using things like ChatGPT, etc. And within 8 months, he was able to scale a SaaS, so that's a software, to $5 million in I think monthly revenue. That was like in 12 months or so. So it's just kind of crazy how you can use AI to help you build a business, or use AI to help you do whatever you want, and also use AI to help you learn more effectively. Okay, then my story. So, Eric actually kind of briefly mentioned a little bit about it, but when I was 15 years old, I was in Cuba, and I was going through a bad financial situation, so I had really no other option than to just teach myself things using the internet. So at the time, there was no ChatGPT, so I'm kind of jealous of you guys, because I hate ChatGPT. But when I did it, and even just using free online resources, you can teach yourself anything. And so that's kind of the idea. And with AI, that becomes even more relevant. Because before, maybe you weren't able to get feedback, you were teaching yourself things by yourself, but nowadays, if you know how to use AI, you can really get feedback, stress test your understanding, and do so much more. Okay? Okay. That being said, AI also has some downsides, and I'm guessing that you guys use AI, so you guys are aware of this for sure. Okay? There's an interesting study called "Your Brain on ChatGPT: Accumulation of cognitive debt when using an AI assistant for essay writing." So the thing is, there's really good ways to use AI, but oftentimes we're using AI in ways that are just offloading or thinking, right? So I think there's a few interesting conclusions from that. People who are using AI for all the works tend to have lower brain engagement compared to people who just kind of use their brain solely. And also 80% of people who use AI to write essays or whatever can't remember what they wrote because they're mostly just copying what the chatbot said, right? Okay. Now, there's two problems and why AI is so important. So one of them is called the half-life of skills. Okay? So nowadays, skills are expiring faster than ever. If you were in the 1990s and you learned how to code, I don't know, let's say a programming language like C or something, that skill, you would then be able to have a job for like 20 years because skills didn't change as quickly. But nowadays, skills are constantly changing. Right? So maybe you learn something and in 5 years, that skill's already expired. So it's not just now about subject-specific skills, but meta skills that are becoming more important. And especially in the age of AI, where a lot of jobs are moving on, it's not just going to be your ability of what you know, but your ability to adapt and quickly learn new things that's going to put you ahead of the curve. Okay? And again, kind of similar to the previous example, the rise of AI in the opportunity. So now you can literally teach yourself anything. There's no excuse just using the internet. Because AI can generate practice questions for you, can generate solutions, it can give you feedback. So as long as you know how to use it, it's easy. Okay? Okay, so this is a little bit of my personal story again. Self-directing my own learning at 15 years old. That's when I finished my challenge. So I was 17 when I did that. I see all the crazy books there. And yeah, that's pretty much been several years now. At this point, researching cognitive science because I believe that learning how to learn is the most important skill, and how to teach that skill. Okay, so mental differences between AI. All right. So a lot of people think that if you're not, let's say, effective at learning, or if you're getting behind, there must be something to my intelligence or my genetics that's holding me back. But really, it's because you don't really know how to learn. You don't have right feedback systems. And now with AI, you're going to be able to learn more effectively because it's going to, if you know how to use it, you can personalize it to whatever you want to learn. That's the idea. It's not intelligence, it's a system. Okay? All right, and so small differences compound. So if you actually get ahead with this now, a few years go by, you're going to be way ahead of anybody else that starts using it. So if you start learning how to use AI, start becoming a better learner, your growth in knowledge is going to compound over time. So somebody that can learn like even 30% faster, in 5 years, they can be 2 to 3 times more ahead than somebody who can. Okay? Okay, so has anybody heard the word transhumanism before? It's an abstract word. Yeah? Okay. So it's the idea that humans were kind of intermixing with technology. So if you think about it, you versus you and your phone is kind of more, we can say more advanced thing than just you. So the idea is that as we have more and more technologies, as ourselves, we're like reaching more of what our potential could be. So if you think about before, knowledge used to live in people's heads, so there was no printing press, there were no books. So you can only really convey knowledge through life, right? Now that there's things that you can write on, now that actually helps us reach our potential more because you can actually pass on knowledge more effectively. There was the printing press, which allowed you to scale knowledge, right? Then there were notebooks, then the internet. Right? So you can scale knowledge with billions of people literally in an instant. And then now AI is the next step. Right? So AI is really going to get us the fully maximum potential. Okay, so what can we do now that we didn't do before? So a few things specifically in the context of learning that AI unlocks. Okay, so first you have to find a tutor before. Now you can have an on-demand dialogue at any hour with AI. So that's one thing. Passive reading. Now with AI you can ask questions and you can actually be more active in how you're reading the text. Number 3, then you can have a generic curriculum, which is kind of usually what you do with the internet, but nowadays you can also tell AI what you know, what you currently understand, and it's going to create a personalized curriculum for you. Okay? Learning alone, right? That's a big one. But nowadays you can actually have feedback loops with AI. That was a massive issue when I did my challenge. I didn't have any feedback, and so oftentimes I would waste hours just not learning something. But nowadays you can have quick feedback loops. Okay? Also, inquiries limited access. So if you have a question that you want to answer, even with the internet before, you still have to somehow find an expert or something that answer that question. But now with AI, you get the answers. Okay, so these are a few AI tools. I don't know if you guys have heard of them, but and there's so much more to come. Maybe towards the end I'll talk a little bit more about it, but we're building a learning app that's going to synthesize a lot of these things. But there's a few things. You can use AI for understanding, for research, for synthesis. You can also use it to build knowledge systems and for learning workflows. So for ChatGPT, you guys probably use it. When you don't understand something, get it to explain it to you. That's just one step, but there's a lot more things to do that you can do, and we'll see that in a sec. For research, these are really just different chatbots that you can use, and also different softwares with AI plugins. So like Obsidian is one where you can kind of plug your notes in like what's called a knowledge graph. So it's kind of like a bunch of links and notes together. And then all these other ones. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a few principles on how to use AI to learn more effectively. So there's 2 things. There's strategy and tactics. So strategy are the principles of how you think about using AI. Tactics are specific concrete things that you do. Okay, so a few principles to kind of think about. Never let AI give you the answer before you attempt it yourself. So oftentimes, there's something in learning science called the generation effect. So if you guys can generate an answer before somebody gives it to you, you're going to remember it better. So the idea is you might want to use AI to kind of maybe give you hints, but don't let it give you the full answer. Right? The second thing, use AI to elaborate your understanding. Oftentimes, as students, you guys probably kind of just stop when you comprehend something, but there's a lot deeper that you can go to. You can go much deeper, so you can start asking questions. Why? How does this work? When does this happen, right? And that's going to give you a much more holistic understanding of what you're learning. Use AI to challenge your thinking. So maybe if you're, I don't know, if you're doing something like law or something, maybe you have a certain argument, and what you want is AI to challenge how you currently understand something. That's one of the best ways to learn. Use it as your thinking partner, not your thinking replacement. So I've been doing this a ton, as I've been building like an app, building other things in my company, and all the time I'm using it not as like, okay, do this, but I'm helping it, I'm using it as a way to kind of think through my ideas. I'm bouncing ideas back and forth. And nowadays, you don't even need a person, you can just use AI, okay? Use AI to test yourself on this experiment. Okay? So oftentimes, even if you guys think you're familiar or you understand something, you don't really understand something unless you test it yourself. And now AI can literally create tests on demand based on what you need. So you can pretty much take a screenshot of what you're learning, and it's going to create problems that are similar to those questions. Okay, debug your misconceptions. So when you're learning something, oftentimes, especially as you get higher level complex things, you're going to probably have misunderstandings. That's just the part of learning. So oftentimes you're going to want to try to explain something and ask AI to poke holes in your explanation. Yeah, so use AI to stress your understanding. Explore multiple perspectives. So actually, I don't think I have it here, but there was a great computer scientist that once said, changing perspective is worth 50 IQ points. So what's the idea? Oftentimes, just changing perspective can completely transform how you understand and see a certain concept. And now AI can give you multiple perspectives. Maybe you understand something from a historical perspective, you understand something from a geometric perspective, right? So now the world's the limit, going for free. Okay. And then using AI to connect your ideas to what we already know. So knowledge builds on itself. So it's not just like random. It builds on what you already know. And so AI can pretty much create analogies and metaphors on demand, and then you guys can use that to better understand what you're actually going. Okay? Okay, so a few prompts. You guys can screenshot this, but I'm also going to be putting the slides up afterwards. But these are just pretty much different prompts related to the strategies we were talking about before. So for instance, attempting first, I'm going to try looking at this problem first. After I share my answer, tell me what I got right or wrong. That's a specific prompt that you guys can go through. Another one could be like challenge and confirm. Here's my understanding of this topic. Challenge it. Where am I wrong? Incomplete or oversimplifying? Another example here, thinking partner. Don't give me the answer. Walk me through how you think about this concept step by step. Also, I can try. So these are just really different prompts that you guys can use to steal them. I'm going to go over there. Okay. Next one, the AI learning roadmap. So depending on where you are in learning a new topic, you're probably going to want to, you're going to be doing different things at different stages. So in the beginning, if you're just learning a new topic, you're not going to go into solving the most difficult problem. Maybe you're going to plan something out, right? And so now AI can kind of walk you through all the different phases. So for instance, in the beginning, it can map the territory and kind of give you maybe a brief understanding of what you're going to get into, okay? So that's going to be like step one. Then you can use it to also build foundational knowledge. So what are like the main domains, the main ideas that are really important in this curriculum, this course that I'm taking, all right? A feedback provider. So now that you have foundational knowledge and you map the whole space, you can also use it as a feedback partner when you're doing projects. Right? And then a few other ways that you can use it as well. You can use it as devil's advocate. I don't know if you guys have heard that phrase, but it's pretty much again having a challenge you, so you're teaching, it's teaching you, and vice versa. And also synthesize. So these are different roadmaps depending on where you are in your learning stage that you can use AI. Okay, so I want to actually go through, let me see if I can find it, a quick live demo of how I would use some things in AI. Okay. So, you can go through some of the things here. Some of the questions. Let's see. Okay, now we can go to Alright, so a few things. Learning about quantum mechanics, and I have knowledge, let's say, of grade 11 science. Walking through a personalized. So things like this. This would be like mapping the territory. Now, you can use ChatGPT, but there's also other apps and other tablets that you can use that I think are better. So there's things like Quad. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. Quad. There's Perplexity. So there's a lot of other ones. ChatGPT is kind of like it's the OG. It's the first one, but I don't think it's the best in my opinion. Another thing you can also do as well is just walking you through the different phases based on what you guys want to understand. But another thing you can also do is you can ask AI to give you a quick test, and then based on that test, it's going to identify what you know, and then it's going to create a curriculum that's personalized to what you know. So, okay. So the key thing with this is that because it starts from what you already know, It's going to sequence the topics in a way that makes the most sense. So it's going to make sure you're not as confused, because if you don't understand something, it's not going to put it at the beginning of your grade. You might put it in the middle or the end. Right? So this will be an example. So it's assuming, okay, maybe you know core math, physics foundations. Let's look at these in the first phase. Okay, first phase is understanding way more of the value, and it can also give you content too. And one of the interesting things, I'm actually developing this with an app. The idea is that you can also put time stamps, so maybe over 6 months having to learn this course. And you can also put what times per week, let's say, after 5, I have time to learn this. And it can also create more of a personalized schedule too. That's the idea. Okay. So phase 1, 2 to 3 weeks this. Okay, phase 2, 1, how we have. So here's kind of walking you through the phases of the weeks. Then after that, after you map it out, what you can do is say, okay, walk me through topics that everything is built on, and try to remember what okay. Okay. The foundation of this. So why is this important? When you're learning something new, if you're able to, from the very beginning, understand what the key ideas are, everything else is going to come to it. And so that's one of the best ways to make learning more effective, and that's kind of what I'm doing now. And not only that, I also explicitly said, okay, try to make sure that you can connect it to what I know, and that's going to improve my comprehension. So it's not going to be using words I don't know, so it's going to try to bring it in terms of something I know. Okay, so maybe I can go through these important ideas first. And then after that, create a 15-point conceptual okay, so now I kind of mapped it out, went through the foundational ideas, and then I'm asking some questions. This kind of test my understanding and also see where I might be going wrong. Yeah, so feedback on that. Another thing I could say, I could also do after I answer these questions, I could be, I feel like, let's say, sort of concept, well, means this, this, I'm going to get something out here, but you get kind of the idea. I may get understand a certain way, but there's something's confusing. I can also kind of leave out how I understand something by properly prompting. So this is just prompting. Okay. And then I can go back, okay, after I understand it, I can even create more questions, and then try to test myself in that way too. Okay. Let's go back. Cool. Okay. So now we end, all right? If you guys want to see where you can find me to keep building, I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, and also on X. You can search up Self-Learners, so that's the website selflearners.io, or you can also search find me, Real Diego Vera on Instagram or LinkedIn. Just kind of the last thing, AI focuses the most in demand still for real workers in the US and Canada. Employers are just adopting AI, they're looking for people that understand how to use AI. So if you really want to get ahead, learn how to use AI in all these different ways, it's really just going to put you ahead of your competition. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you very much, Leo. Does anybody have any questions? We will be opening the mic for your questions. If anybody has any questions about what you learned today, how would you like to know more about AI? If not, at the end, we will have an opportunity to talk to our presenters today. If you feel more comfortable, help me put it together. Can we give another round of applause, please? Okay, so now we can get you up again and moving, because we know that after all that knowledge that is acquired, your body needs also to be learning some stuff. So I'm going to ask Jessica to join us again here. Jessica Rios, she is a talented she specializes in many, many arts of dance. So she is here today to bring you a couple of new ways to get yourself into different rhythms, all from Latin America. So we will start today with a traditional Mexican dance. So she will lead you into the steps and everything else. Welcome. Please welcome Jessica again, Laura.
Okay. Hello again. Thank you so much for your welcoming hands. Thank you for everything. I want to start with the first dancing style. I'm from Mexico, by the way. The picture you saw earlier, I was dressed as a Mayan warrior. I got the privilege to perform at the ROM, the museum in Toronto, and during the Day of the Dead. That's why I was looking extra. Anyways, this one in particular is from Jalisco. It's, I don't know if you've ever heard the Mexican hat dance, el jarabe tapatío, or you've heard la negra. So I will teach you 3 styles from Latin America. I'll teach you a Mexican dance, I'll teach you Brazilian, and I'll teach you Pascua from Chile. It's sort of like Hawaiian, okay? So the first one is the Mexican style, and I will need some volunteers. Let's just have fun, laugh and giggle and sweat a little bit. When I see I need boys and I need girls. Come over, por favor. Okay. I need the girls on this side, and I need boys on this side. Okay. That says, wow, guys, you know what? I see you boys rock. Necesito muchachos. Amigos, Da, da, okay, muchachos, you're going to go like this. Da,